Almost knocked over a light there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope your day is going fabulous. Thanks for coming here to check out my video. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Chris, your mic guy, and I hope you guys are here today to check out this beautiful microphone from Electro-Voice, the Co7. Getting started off here today talking about what comes in your box. Unfortunately, I bought this thing secondhand, so I did not get an unboxing for it, but Electro-Voice's paperwork does say you get the microphone, a microphone stand, and you get a gig bag, which I'm assuming is one of those little leather padded bags that you get to throw your microphone in as you're traveling with it. Talking about our use case here today, this microphone is specifically designed around live performances. Electro-Voice touts it as the microphone for a performer who wants hassle-free setup and use. Has very minimal gain feedback and very, very low handling noise, which are two features that you're going to want if you're up on stage, especially singers that are moving around a lot during their live performances. In terms of specifications, this microphone is cardioid polar pattern, has a frequency response of 50 Hertz to 18,000 Hertz, and weighs in at about 332 grams. For our polar pattern test here today, I will just be rotating the microphone as is normal. And again, with this cardioid polar pattern, we should start to see some coloration, some rejection as I start to rotate around the microphone. Now, to get this full pattern here, I'm gonna have to tilt the microphone down and try to stay directly behind it as best as I can here. But the intention is to have good rejection when you're behind it. If this microphone is supposed to be good at eliminating feedback, then you want to really make sure that it does its job and it's not getting audio fed in from all around. So I would expect the polar pattern on this thing to work very, very, very well and really meet the standards of the microphone. For our Plosive test here today, we will be doing, again, raw audio, cloth pop filter, metal mesh. Peter picked lots of peppers from Paul's patch. Peter picked lots of peppers from Paul's patch. And Peter picked lots of peppers from Paul's patch. Now, being a live performance microphone, I would expect that it has very good plosive rejection right out the gate. I haven't attempted to take any sensitivity to it. There's a very thick foam insert right on the inside of the metal screen of the microphone here that I can see very clearly. If it's a live performance microphone, you don't want pops and plosives as you're trying to sing, as you're trying to talk on stage or anything like that, because that can totally ruin a live experience. So I'm hoping that this thing is doing its job, doing very good with plosives and keeping all that rejected. And now for my distance test, I'm about fist length away from the microphone here, just upping my volume a little bit myself, trying to see how much it impacts the microphone just being a few feet away versus directly on top of it. That's always going to change. Every microphone is going to be a little different. Dynamics are typically going to be impacted a lot more because they're not as sensitive as the condensers are, but I hope this is still able to clearly pick up my voice and be able to hear me at least when I'm a little bit back. And now coming back in for the proximity test. Again, hoping this pop and plosive rejection works really well because now I'm sitting right on top of the microphone and I'm hoping I'm not clipping again, but you're just going to see it does actually say that they improve the bass response. So they introduced this to have the ability of the proximity effect for the vocalists or stage performers that really want to get that extra little deep bass tone while they're performing. Now for our shock test here today, as I'm just going to tap the microphone stand and tap the microphone itself, I'm hoping this does a pretty good job, again, being a handling microphone, seeing exactly how much gets induced to the audio as you're doing this. I'm going to tap the cable a couple times too, maybe the XLR connector. Yeah, let's try that. Just doing some different things here to see what it impacts it for you. Now, since this is a live performance microphone, I decided I wanted to hold it and move it around and try to get my cable disconnected from my stand here, so that way I could try to handle it, try to see how much of this noise gets put in from just moving it around between my hands. I do like the casing on this. It actually seems kind of smooth, which means my fingers slide around on it a little easier versus some of the ones that you hold are really hard and rough, and you can't really move your hand once you're holding it without making noise. So we'll see what the handling noise is and how that changes the sound for you. And for the ambience test here, since this microphone, again, is supposed to be reduced feedback, reduced gain, what I've done is directly behind my camera on the floor, I've turned on a small fan just to see how much of that could get picked up. I'd say the fan in relation to the microphone is probably about 3.5, 4 feet away on the floor here. Just trying to see how much of that, interferes with my voice, how much of that you guys can hear, how that's being impacted overall. So listening back to what we've recorded so far, I have to say that the Co7 did disappoint me a little bit in the handling noise and the shock test. For a microphone that's touted to be live performance microphone, I would expect it to have the ability to block out if somebody's holding it. Like, that's the intention that it's designed for. Other than that, in terms of spoken word, vocals, plosive rejection, things like that, I think it does pretty good. Now, this being a discontinued microphone, originally listed for $150, I think there's better options that are new today in a lower price bracket. Sure, has a full lineup, SM58, etc., right? That I think you could get that would be good live performance microphones, but if you could find one of these really cheap, $50, $30, sure, it's going to be great for anything spoken word. If you have it on a mic stand, anything like that, yes, you could really make it work. You could make it worth your while. Just don't get it with the intention of holding it, walking around with it and using it on a stage, because I think you're just going to pick up a whole bunch of handling noise, and it's just going to be not a pleasant experience. But with that, this is all I have to say about Electro-Voice's Co7 here today. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, if you did, hit that thumbs up button. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing something right, and it helps pass my video along to others so they can enjoy it too. Thanks again, guys. My name is Chris. You're my guy. We'll check you next time.